Hey, hi-lo. It's Neal Brennan. This is the Blocks Podcast. We talk about things that trouble us, and then we connect over it, and we heal the world. I don't make the rules, guys. My guest today, I know not well, but what I do know, I like. We worked together on a Netflix special for Ellen DeGeneres, and we got to know each other a little bit there, and I'm not going to let you speak yet. I'd like to talk, and then the podcast ends. My guest today, it's Tig Notaro. One of the best observations anyone's ever made about me. Do you remember it?
Mm-mm.
You pointed out that when I drink from a bottle, I'm going to do it now. Guys, watch closely what I do with my tongue.
I remember now.
No one had ever noticed it. In 40 plus years of living, no one had ever noticed it. This young lady came into my life, and she brought the hammer down pretty quickly. She's here to talk to us today.
She's here. She's queer.
She's here. She's queer. Are you used to it?
They're not.
Do people get used to it?
No, I'm not even used to it.
Yeah. Do you ever go like, am I still doing this?
Yeah. Well, I always consider it something I'm dabbling in. You know, until the right guy comes along.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel like you're the kind of person who was yourself from age 3. Not, and I don't mean like gay. I just mean like you were the brand was pretty well worked out.
I think so.
I can work back and see you as 3 and be like, yeah, that's all right there.
A lot of my childhood, I was kind of Huckleberry Tig, though.
Go on.
That's all. I just, I like playing in the woods and following the creek and the bayous and what have you.
Well, that's where you go, where does the Southern girl begin and the lesbian
exactly
end, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
Absolutely. It's like, are you gay or are you Midwestern,
in
Southerner?
Louisiana.
Do you have a tractor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you still don't know.
Mm-mm. My family in Mississippi, they were John Deere tractor sales folk. So
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't for a bit.
No,
they
really
sold tractors.
They sold tractors.
Is that better than being a farmer? Is that like status wise? Is that like, well, they're sales, they're part of a corporation?
I don't know. I don't really totally run in that.
Into it?
Yeah. No. I really don't know. It seems like you would get respect in either world.
I think that there's a little too much respect for farmers.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like mythologizing them. It's like they're just working like the rest of us. I don't think it's special because it's
how dare you?
Wheat.
It's not just wheat.
Or barley.
It is not just
corn?
wheat and barley and corn.
Animals.
It is not just
sheep.
Wheat and barley and corn and animals.
And sheep. And
okay,
goats.
what if the farmers were like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore? How would you feed yourself?
No. Okay, what if we didn't do what we did anymore? The whole fucking country would collapse. You know that as well as I do. It's an ecosystem we're all paying into. I don't think they're more noble than anyone else. I don't.
Okay.
And I'm tired of it. I don't. I have a joke that
is
never works.
Is this your block?
No, I mean it turns out I have a joke that never works, which is.
Ooh, let me hear it.
I know. Again, is she an asshole or a lesbian? You don't know what's what.
I have a tractor.
Yeah. That there are certain jobs in the world that are we won't pay you, so we say that you're a hero or you're salt of the earth. We're not going to pay you. We're going to pay you in compliments, and farmers one of them. Teachers one of them. Nurses one of them.
Firefighters.
Firefighter, cop.
I mean, yeah.
You're a hero, but don't ask for a raise. You're not that much of a.
It is odd, like, speaking of heroes. Wait, was that your joke?
Fuck.
I thought it was just a talking point, and then I remembered, he was going to tell me a joke that
have you ever done
work.
comedy? Sometimes.
Right.
If it doesn't cross the talking point barrier, it remains, it doesn't get escape velocity, and it stays in our orbit. It gets some laughs, but not enough for our level.
And you're still closing with it?
I opening and closing with
okay.
it. So some people are pretty upset. A lot of disappointed people. And they go like, was it a joke? There's like, it kind of makes you think.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
I know that's the thing. It's not good
Kind
enough.
of.
I preface it by saying it's not good enough. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So anyway, what you were saying.
Well, I was just thinking about the word hero, and when people do something heroic and they're on the news and they're like, oh, I'm not a hero. It would be nice if somebody did just own it.
You know what?
Just like, you know what, I am. That was very heroic of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went in there and I did that, and I feel like a hero.
We're getting into comedy right now. That could get a laugh.
Okay.
So,
more than the one you just did?
Well, maybe.
Whose hero bit will destroy more?
Vote. Let us know, America. I should have brought your blocks up before you got here. Well, no, I don't really need to look at a piece of paper for
you already know what my blocks are.
I know what your
worked with me.
Right.
But we zipped around on a private jet together.
I do have pictures of it. Did I ever send you the pictures?
Yeah.
They're cute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're cute?
Yeah, they're cute.
Did you really look at them and think, oh my God, they're so cute?
It's cute.
Oh
It's like you got your feet up on a zillionaire's lap in a private jet. I'm going to cut to them and let the audience decide.
When you say audience, what are we talking?
I don't know. Depends. What do you think you can pull? Bill Burr's in the 500,000 range. What do you think you're gonna? Dave Letterman, Bill Burr, Tom Segura. What am I looking at? What can we expect?
I think I might get skipped over.
No, it's they'll like it. They like it when they think that there's blood in the water, so to speak. Meaning they like it when I think it does well when they go, oh, she'll have some shit, just because you almost die so often.
I haven't in a while.
Yeah, really? Do you miss it?
My entire body is like Jenga.
Did you? I have a Jenga bit. Don't worry about it. It crushes. Don't need your pity on this one. Did you just think I'm gonna die? You must have just been absolutely convinced you were dead.
Which time?
I know, that's what I mean. Like, did you go, well, I'm not going to do it. All right. So the first diagnosis was the cancer?
No.
The fall?
No, I had pneumonia.
Okay.
And then I went to urgent care, got antibiotics, and that can sometimes cause an adverse response and clear out all the bacteria inside of you, except for this one bacteria called C. diff.
It's not good if I've heard of it.
Right.
If I've heard of the bacteria, it's probably pretty bad.
It's bad. And if it's left alone to thrive, it will just eat your insides to pieces. And so that's what happened to me. And then I didn't know that whole time that I had invasive cancer. So that was in a 4-month period of time. Are
you a depression person? Have you had much depression in your life?
I've had depression.
Because what I'm saying is, did it feel physically different? You know what I mean? When you're like, I had cancer and I didn't even feel that much different than I did 5 years earlier.
Well, no, because I think cancer is that it's the silent killer until it's too late. So I wasn't really feeling much of any. I don't know which was which. Right, I wasn't like, oh my God, my cancer, or, my pneumonia, or my C. diff.
My lesbianism.
Yeah. Oh, my hero jokes. But I just, I felt I was just really sick.
But probably well, just go get some shit and it'll be fine.
I kept thinking I just had a cold. I didn't know I had pneumonia.
3 weeks?
I don't know if it was a week or two that I had something in there. Yeah. And then once I contracted C. diff, I thought it was related to the pneumonia. Yeah. I didn't know I had a whole full-blown disease outside of that. And then lurking underneath was the invasive.
When they call it the silent killer, is it because you don't know it's happening?
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel any different?
Yeah, you could just be like, you could be sitting here
I could be
creating cancer
stage
right now.
4 as we speak.
Or just right now your cells are
doing something.
Doing cancer stuff. Like
getting
right
busy
now.
with cancer.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have the thought that people don't change in life unless they almost die. I kind of believe that. Like even if they go to 12-step groups, it's because they almost died from drugs or alcohol or whatever.
Don't you think sometimes heartbreak and loss in different ways?
Yes, but I mean change. I think I mean change in a good way.
I think that can change in a good way. I think it's good to get your heart broke. You don't?
I mean, it's not part of my growth vision board. Like, okay. Meaning I don't, it can
death
be.
Is, you just have a skull and bones. Skull and bones.
Yes. Yeah. It looks cool. People think it's like a pirate motif. Yeah. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, I know what you mean. It can getting your heart broken can make you more empathetic. Because you go, oh, I guess I broke hearts.
Yeah.
And that is helpful. I think almost dying can make you have a different outlook on everything.
Indeed.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering about. Yes, it's like, what were you like before and what do you think it did to you? In terms of, I mean, it's a broad question, but.
It makes me more careful, just across the board, I would say. Thoughtful, careful, and mindful, all of that.
Careful with like, don't endanger yourself? Or we're talking about emotionally, we're talking about
everything. I truly prioritize my health, my sleep. I try and remove stresses from my life whenever I can. And I mean, even when I'm walking after a shower in the bathroom, like I don't just
no,
really,
I know you.
I am very careful because I really don't want to go through anything again. I also don't want to put my family through it.
Yeah,
I have 2 sons. They'll be 8 in June, and I fell when I was on tour and ended up recently. Fractured my wrist and
did you really?
Ended up on crutches.
Shower?
No. Oh my gosh. My luggage was lost and I went up to the airport to get my luggage. Pouring rain.
Okay.
Pouring rain. And the story begins much earlier than this, but this is the moment. I get out of the Uber. And I just have to walk across, you know where this parking structure, like let's say it's LAX, here's the parking structure. You walk across that street.
It's 40 yards.
Get to the baggage claim. I get out of the car.
Did you pause for my tongue just now? Did you notice it?
I'll be honest, I forgot. Oh, there it is. It's very unsettling.
It's once you told me.
And unnecessary. I don't know why you shove your tongue in there.
I don't know either. But it's too late.
I want to see how your family they drink. They must.
I've never noticed it before. That's what was so devastating about the observation. Is like no one. I hadn't noticed it.
We were at the bar, right?
Yeah, we were at a bar.
After the show.
Yeah, me. Picture this: me, Tig Notaro, Portia de Rossi, Ellen DeGeneres, just knocking back cold ones.
And I see your tongue go into your cold one.
Also, I believe you or Ellen pitched us all going on tour. I believe it was the Bearded Lesbians of Comedy. And I was like, why don't you guys put that on your Instagram? Because I can't really sell that thing through.
I think you could. I really do. Right. So anyway, I get out of the Uber. Somebody walks in front of me with their huge suitcase, launches me. I mean, I'm airborne. And while I'm in the air, I'm thinking I'm going to break my hip. I mean, I have plenty of time to think. I am so high up in the air. Come down, and I tear a tendon in my leg, fracture my wrist. I can't even walk. I'm in Europe. Anyway,
you're literally in Europe?
Yeah. I did weeks in Europe on crutches with a fractured wrist.
You were doing stand-up?
Yeah. But I called my wife and I said, I didn't want our sons to know. I didn't want them to worry. It's
great. It's important that a family have secrets.
But that is something where I'm like, if they don't have to know something like that, I don't want them to know. But obviously it's not the worst I've been through, but it's like added to the list of.
And at a certain point, do you just go like, if it was like, if a body could be a lemon, do you feel like you have a lemon? Or do you not even blame your body? I would blame my body probably.
Well, I think that the more information I have, I think that there's issues with people's bodies, but I also think that there's experiences in life and toxic stress and all sorts of things that can cause damage. PTSD, all sorts of things in life.
Yeah, that long term can be. Yeah, it's there's also.
I don't think that's what caused the fall. Looked it up, and there's no
way to know. I guess my question is, do you think that a person can attract it? Or have you gotten that far out with it? Not attract it, but or if somebody's accident prone, or there are things like that are not PTSD related, but. But you kind of become a magnet for like bad situations. You know, some people just have bad luck and it feels spiritual somehow. I don't think that would be you, but.
Well, I mean, when I had that all happen in that 4-month period of time in 2012, I did think, oh my God, am I cursed?
Mm-hmm.
And that is not anything, I think that's not in my thought process is curses or I'm not really spiritual or religious or I don't even think in those terms. But during that time, I thought, oh my gosh, am I cursed? But I also started praying during that time too. So I was all over the map.
What were you praying to?
Well, first of all, I was apologizing to the God I didn't even believe in.
For never believing.
For never believing.
Yeah. Hope it's not too late.
Yeah.
This is weird.
And apparently it wasn't too late because, you know, the ship was turned around. But I still get little things where
You're welcome.
where I still have moments where I, trip and fall in Europe and end up on crutches. But
I don't think you tripped and fell. Didn't you get, it sounds like you got kind of tackled or something.
Not tackled. I was walking and the person cut in front of me and I caught the tail end of their large suitcase.
Okay.
And it launched me.
Did they go like, Dave?
Nobody stopped. It was...
it's not very what you would think of in Europe.
No, but the city I was in, and I'm not going to say what it is.
Don't bring it down. You don't know what you don't want to give them the press. You don't want to give them the negative press.
I don't want to give them negative press.
Okay.
But I did. My wife, because I could not believe nobody stopped.
Yeah.
Again, pouring rain. My wife looked it up and she said it is the rudest country in Europe.
Now I want to guess.
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Jesus.
I don't want to bring these people down. You know, they're already.
Yeah, I want to say the Netherlands.
No. Oh my God, no.
Great. That's a believable no. I mean, there's the obvious ones like France or whatever, but I don't think it's that obvious. You're not obvious. You're not an obvious person. And do you? So you're more careful.
Mm-hmm.
Do you select work differently?
I try to. Yeah. I mean, what I really try to do with decisions that I make, and I mean, here I am doing your podcast in person.
Yeah, I mean, podcast.
But I do try to make decisions. This is weird, but I think this is PTSD from when I got a call that my mother had tripped and died.
Yes.
I don't ever want to get bad news when I'm doing something I really don't want to be doing. Of course, I never want to get bad news.
No, I know what you mean, though.
But if I'm doing something that is utterly soul-sucking and I get a horrific phone call,
you're going to be like, this was a total failure of a
I think it's going to deeply, deeply disturb me for a very...
Could money compensate for it?
No.
Interesting.
I think I need to feel like I really want to do something.
Right.
I like the people I'm going to be signing up to spend my time with.
Did you have a sense of that before?
No.
So it was just like you're just going through life like,
yes.
I'll do what
I don't understand at all who I was before 2012. I really don't. I have a vague idea, but I was so just out of touch in certain ways that it's haunting. It's that bittersweet thing of the deep awakening that I got during that time, but it came with a lot of loss and pain.
Yeah.
It's hard to reconcile those
It's
emotions.
hard to express too, because it's probably hard to express what you know now that you didn't know before.
Well, and also wrapped up in there is I lost my mother in the middle of it all.
And there's also the thing of like, it was a weird catapult for your career, which is another one of those weird, unexpected things where, and I've been saying this recently, like, I'm always scanning. Human beings, like, we're just scanning for threats all the time. And then there's these weird things that you assume is a threat, or like bad news or a bad event that ends up being like long-term kind of positive. And not like your mother dying is positive or all the diagnoses and illnesses are positive, but like they end up kind of being, I don't know what the word is, like fortifying or enriching.
Well, I think that I always go back to this feeling of the importance of
it's all corny
of trusting life. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I've been trying to do, is trust life. And that means all of the things that go along with it. Yeah, it's very hard to articulate because it was brutal, that time period.
It's also like any other processes we could do where I could get this. I could get these sort of downloads or these understandings that isn't CDEP,
C.
diff,
whatever it's called.
Whatever. Yeah. C. diff or cancer or mastectomy, or is there any other way we could do this? And it seems like there might not be.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It really is, because there's so much loss and pain and PTSD. I mean, even to this day, when I check into a hotel room, I keep everything so in order and packed in case there is an emergency and I have to. And that came from, I had internal bleeding in Philadelphia and collapsed after a show one night and was hauled off to the emergency
room. Was the show good?
Oddly, it was one of the best
shows
of my career.
Of course it was.
And what was hilarious was this friend of mine from my childhood lived in the area with his wife, and Stephanie happened to be with me, and it was so crazy.
Your wife, Stephanie?
Yes. She's never on tour with me. And so we were all going to go have a drink after the show. And I'm standing there talking to him and his wife. I haven't seen him in 20 years. And then I'm feeling this pain where I can't even concentrate. It's like I'm burning alive inside. And I'm also a bit of a germaphobe, and Stephanie,
I don't know why. Keep going.
Stephanie told me she knew something was terribly wrong because she saw me scanning that I was going down on the floor, but she could tell I was like, I don't want to go down. I don't want to be laid out.
Which area could I bear my face being against? Right. That's so funny.
But I'm like down for the count and I'm struggling to breathe. This happened so fast. And my friend, I didn't see him again. I got hauled out of there so fast and didn't see him again. Was it? I saw him at the merchandise booth. And then that was that. And then he actually came to a show of mine recently. It was so crazy.
And he hadn't seen you since you...
No.
The last time you saw him was
I was like... and down I went.
Fuck.
But so I was hospitalized, and Stephanie had to go back to the hotel, pack all of our stuff, and get it organized. And so part of my PTSD from that experience is that I make sure everything, like in my toiletry bag, I don't,
You don't fuck around.
I keep, after I use something, I put it in the toiletry bag. After I...
Do you put the toiletry bag back in the suitcase at the end of the night?
No, but okay. I just feel like...
You're pretty cool.
I feel like if I can keep things manageable, then I'm not going to be a problem, or it's not going to be a problem to somebody if they have to come, clean up
well,
my
there's
stuff.
an old thing that women may not. Men used to have these things when there were porn tapes. My brother and David Tell had an agreement. Like, if I die, you have to go to my house and get rid of the tapes. Like my porn, like I don't want people coming to my house and seeing
how much I truly enjoy porn.
Yes.
Because people know guys
people
are watching
would never
porn.
think that about my brother David Tell.
Okay. Well, yeah, mine is similar, but it's my toiletry bag and my suitcase.
Different strokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look back at 2011 Tig.
That was before anything happened.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a sort of like that silly kid? Mm-hmm. Do you look back with some longing of like, you didn't know what you didn't know and you were just babe in the woods and like having fun. You thought you had it all figured. Like,
I'm terrified for 2011 Tig and before. I mean, everybody's naive to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I think that I took so many risks. I trusted so many people. I trusted situations.
Were you not following your instincts, or you just didn't occur to you to be skeptical or?
I think that I'm pretty, for the most part, pretty straightforward, and I take things at face value, and I can see how that can get you into weird situations or relationships, or I don't know. My mother was kind of naive in a way. I think I had a certain level of that.
It is interesting to hear you say that, and also learning to trust life. Mm-hmm. Because in some ways I would say, like, well, 2011 Tig was trusting life.
No, that's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't say it, I'm not like calling you out, but it is the thing of, we should, I don't want to be paranoid all the time.
But there wasn't, absolutely. But there wasn't much thought put into it. I wasn't like consciously trusting life.
Okay.
I was thoughtlessly trusting life.
Got it.
And I think that there is a bit of a difference there. I also felt very much like that's not gonna. It's similar to getting diagnosed with any sort of disease. It's like before that happens, you think that's not gonna happen to me. Happens to other people.
It's gonna happen to Tig. I consciously.
Well,
remember
now I know.
That.
Anytime. I mean, it is ridiculous. Yeah, it's like anytime a doctor will say, "Here, this medication, don't worry, it's a very small percentage of people that have an adverse response." I used to think nothing of it. Yeah. And now I'm like, I'm sorry, but
I don't know how to tell you this. It's going to be me.
It will be me. What I've also realized over time is I'm so sensitive. My body is so sensitive. It responds very positively and it responds very negatively.
Yeah.
And so when you are that sensitive, you have to really take note and have follow-up questions. And because I have gotten myself in horrendous situations medically because you
didn't think it would happen to you.
Yeah.
It's a therapist told me one time that in her experience, people who have traumatic backgrounds are more sensitive to medication.
Interesting.
And I don't know if you have a traumatic back before 2011. Like, I kind of think you didn't, like growing up.
No, I definitely, I had a
you did?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then there's some information that I don't, that's been, and I found that to be true.
Specifically with medication.
Yeah. Antidepressants would work within two days. For me, and usually it's like it's going to take 2 months, and I'm like, it's not going to take 2 months. Trust me.
It's interesting.
And then like ayahuasca, I do sometimes. I don't need much. Mm-hmm. Like it just shit can, and maybe it's because we're skinny, but I kind of believe that spiritual, trauma, what trauma does to you, and what you were saying earlier, like PTSD, and you kind of get your body in some ways. I guess it's weaker or something, but I don't know if that's the right word. More susceptible.
I feel like, it just swings in both directions. I feel like something can take me down easily, but then I feel like I can also come back. I just feel like my body it responds.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's in both directions.
Yeah. Like ayahuasca will work quickly, or any of these things will work quickly. And then when I stop, it'll just be reasonable. It won't be like, it won't be screaming. Are you emotionally sensitive? Or would you say like more sensitive than Stephanie? Than like, are you, do you consider yourself sensitive?
I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
And Stephanie and I always have an issue with people always direct all of the sports updates to me. I think because my hair is short. Like our handyman, he'll be like, yeah, he's from Philly, telling me about plays and whatever sports and scores, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, let me go get Stephanie.
Don't get it twisted.
Like this is you've got the wrong one. Hold on, let me go get Stephanie. And she actually follows sports and she knows all that stuff. And then people assume that she's more sensitive. I mean, she's definitely sensitive, but I am way more sensitive, I would say, than she is.
I think everybody's pretty sensitive, but like it gets to the point where, do you ever think it's ego? Like I get my feelings hurt. Yeah. I get my feelings hurt easily, and it's like, maybe that's ego. Maybe I'm just thin skinned because I want praise so badly that when it's not, I'm like,
I feel like I've even changed in recent years of like, obviously you do stand up for praise and adoration and all of that stuff, but man, am I needing that less and less.
It's weird, isn't it?
It gets a little cringy for me sometimes. The attention, or even, it sounds insane, but like the clapping and cheering when you walk on stage, it's like, guys, it's confusing me a bit.
I think you probably get more clapping and cheering initially. At the end, we make up for it. I close with...
you throw your hero joke in.
I close with a hero, and
the
rest and everything else takes care of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a little silly.
It's so silly, and but I don't want to also come across as judgmental because a lot of people are enjoying it. I have enjoyed it. Yeah. It's just that I enjoy comedy. I'm struggling with that sort of attention.
Well, it's also you're and I'm again less so. You're an avatar for a bunch of things. It's like you almost died multiple times. She won't stop talking about it. You're like the Phoenix. Like you are resilient. You are a bunch of things that people more than comedy.
Yeah, I
and you kind of have to. Again, I don't think you're fighting it. And I don't think it's. I don't think you're being disrespectful or ingrateful. But you do get to an age or maybe a level of mature. I don't know what the word is, but where you just go, this feels a little.
Yeah. It's I've noticed it over the past handful of years where I've just started to feel like this feels odd. I don't know.
Introducing Lumi for Men. Have you heard of Lumi whole body deodorant? It's hugely popular, dummy. Well, now they have Lumi for Men. It's the same clinically proven doctor-developed formula, but in cologne quality scents for men. Imagine if a deodorant didn't smell like deodorant. That's Mando. Mando is made with mandelic acid and alpha hydroxy acid that blocks the sweat-eating bacteria on your skin from causing odor, so you don't even smell in the first place. And you can put it anywhere. Right now, I have Mando on my pits, and I have it in my inner leg. I grew up Catholic, so I have a lot of shame. I put it on this morning, and I still smell incredible. It was actually early. It was late morning. It really works. Special offer: new customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code NEAL at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. I like it because it gets the job done. I have an issue where I pull the shirt over and then you get deodorant coming down. I've had none of that with Mando. I like the scents. Truly masculine, nothing flowery. I don't mind a flowery sometimes, on the weekend. It's more in the man, oaky, musky scent. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipe, and of course free shipping. Luckily, I got a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code NEAL at ShopMando. That's ShopMando.com. ShopMando.com. Code NEAL. That thing you said about trusting life.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a daily thing? Because it's hard to really go, even this one? Even this thing that looks like this is a gift also? It sure looks like a turd, or it looks like a setback, or it looks like, and you just go, even this one. Because that's the hard part. It's not even hard, but I do find it. I was kind of cursing, not even cursing. 2 days ago, I have a Netflix out and I'm like, how's it doing? And I'm like, I couldn't tell. And I'm like, why? Kind of not even feeling, but like cursing God for like, why won't you tell me? Why can't my life be simpler and like obvious? And why can't I just be like a fucking huge star? Why does everything have to be like, I have to fucking claw my way up? And
recently you're like, you want to be a huge star.
Still.
You do. You want to be a huge star.
I would, if I had to choose my level of success,
mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. If you're asking me how I can do the exact same material.
Mm-hmm.
If you're asking me how successful would that material
exact
be?
Same material as Kevin Hart.
I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I'm married to Dicey. Wouldn't you want to be the same spirit?
No.
Why not? Tell me.
No. I feel like I have a nice amount of success.
I do too. I do. I think you do, and I think I do.
Yeah. And I'm good with it.
Yeah. I'm not. That's what I want to specify. I'm not jealous of Kevin, and I'm not like.
No, I don't hear it as jealousy, but that would be your ideal.
Yes, stadiums. If I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm going to Philly, I can do 1,000-seater, or I can do a 17,000 seater.
Oh my God, none of that appeals to me.
Really?
No.
Why not?
No. Oh my gosh. I think there's just a simplicity that appeals to me, and that doesn't feel.
You're from tractor salespeople.
And tomato farmers.
Yeah. I'm a simple woman.
Yeah. It doesn't appeal to me. It really doesn't.
Yeah. So, but I'm also dealing with that taking life on trusting life, right? So
mm-hmm.
I'm going like, why does it have to be this way? Like, why does it have to be? Why can we learn most lessons from punishment and death or near death? And why? And then eventually it's like, just because that's how it is, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I call myself dog in my head.
Oh, okay. You're talking to you.
Yeah. That's how it is. And no, and I call you dog as well on this. No, but the acceptance of like, that's just what it's going to be. And there's no point in fighting it. There was a second part of it also, which was I have like sort of negative feelings around it. And I'm like, well, you're the only one here. So it's just, you're just hitting yourself with continuously negative feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if you took a look, how was your inner monologue in 2011 versus what it is now? Were you harder on yourself before? Have you learned sort of gentility?
I haven't really thought about that.
Well, did you think about, did I make myself sick somehow? Do you know what I mean? It's like you go diet. What are the inputs?
I mean, I just recently, there's a new test out that I took where they can.
Is it like a BuzzFeed kind of thing, like a personality?
Yeah.
Okay.
To see if your cancer is going to come back. And so thank you, BuzzFeed, for this free, accurate.
It's free, and it's incredibly accurate. And it cost them like $1 billion almost. Anyhow.
And they just
gave it away.
It's amazing. So thank you, BuzzFeed. Mm-hmm. I have to take this new test on BuzzFeed every 6 months because I've started a new medication. But this test lets me know if there is cancer in my system. And so did I make myself sick? Well, yeah, I really don't know. But now that this test is available and that I can start this new medication, what I have control over, which is what I eat and drink and who I spend my time with and how I try and clear out different stresses and any sort of heaviness that's toxic in my life. That's what I'm doing. And what I was doing before, I did not think at all about, I mean, I even as far as sleeping goes, I was like, oh, yeah, I got 2 hours. I can plow through. I wasn't thinking how that might affect my health. I was surrounding myself with people that weren't necessarily great, in relationships that weren't serving me or them.
Yeah.
I've dated plenty of people that are wonderful, beautiful, smart, successful, funny, but I also wasn't aggressively pursuing anybody. If somebody pursued me a lot, sometimes I just ended up their girlfriend. And,
yeah, that happens.
But really, I truly would find myself in relationships or friendships where I thought, God, they came on strong, and now I'm just in their life. They really don't make sense to me.
Yeah. Stephanie, you pursued? Did I remember that correctly?
I did pursue her. I texted her once a month. But neither of us are into texting. And when we exchanged numbers, I told her that I was like, I didn't think she was into me. I was just like, oh, I'm not a big texter. And she said, I'm not either. And I told her I had gone out with this girl that texted me after our coffee saying, that was really fun. She knew I had a show that night, texted me and said, have a great show. Then at 11 o'clock at night, she texted me, sweet dreams. And I was like, oh my God. And I told Stephanie that, and she said, that is not me. No need to worry. And then that night when I went home, I got a text from her that said sweet dreams. And I was like, okay. And
is this a bit?
But no, it was hilarious.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but you still 5% he was like, okay,
no,
so there was, okay.
She's so funny.
Great.
And we could not stop texting after that.
Yeah.
But that was, and then like 6 months later, we, had something like that. And then we made out for the first time. And then she wrote me this like 10-page long email saying, I've never been with a woman, and I really like you, and I thought that was fun, but it went on and on and on, and then I just responded, okay, dyke. And then because I just thought, well, even though I knew I wanted to be with her, I just thought, I guess I have to let this go, and I'll do it lightheartedly. And we've been together now going on 12 years, 2 kids, 3 cats, production company.
Great.
That was mindful. Like my pursuit.
Was that post 2012? It was.
Yeah, 2013.
You ever think she was doing it for the life insurance?
Even if she was,
knowing that this broad ain't gonna be around long. I'll take it for how much longer?
Yeah, truly, I will take it. Whatever her motivation is, I'm fine. Yeah. So I think it's a stark difference to me.
Yeah. And again, You had to almost die.
Yeah.
To eat to finally make slightly better choices.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's do some specific blocks. I feel like we've covered a lot, but which I appreciate because it's been great. For some reason, you have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Medicated?
Am I medicated?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, not for anxiety.
No.
Do you have to take a cancer, an ongoing medication for that? For the C. diff?
Not for C. diff. C. diff is kind of like herpes for people in that once you've had a flare up,
it's around.
There's a recurrence, the potential recurrence.
Yeah.
And what can trigger it is alcohol, fried food, sugar, basically all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I became vegan. It's 8 years ago, something like that. And so I shifted my diet. It took me a few years to shift my diet. I was still dealing with a lot of pain, even though I lived through it and rose again. I was in a lot of pain. I shifted my diet. That's helped a lot. And I really don't drink a lot. And but that's all C. diff related. And medication I took for cancer, I came off of fairly recently. And it's so tricky. It's like you live through cancer, and you have parts of your body removed inside and out. And there's medication that you take to balance
what you used to have. Yeah.
And then your body responds
to that
well
medication.
Or not.
Yeah.
And so I've been on a real roller coaster. Because a lot the internal bleeding issues was like cysts bursting inside of me. And that happened so frequently because I was having an adverse response to the cancer medication. So I needed the medication, but it was my doctor was constantly monitoring these cysts that were like massive.
Ovarian or anywhere?
Ovarian. But
I was hoping for ovarian.
Yes, it was ovarian. So there you go. But they were so massive, and it was like a ticking time bomb and I reached a point where I told my doctor, I said, I've been hospitalized 3 times. One of them burst on a blood vessel, and it was like an enormous, like that much blood loose in my body. And I'm like, I'm flying around the country, around the world. If this happens on a flight, it's hard to balance everything that's going on. And
imagine if when we were on the Ellen's jet,
if
that had happened, how unhelpful me, Ellen, and Portia would have been.
And how quickly
we would have tried to change the subject.
Is supposed to be in your veins,
and
it burns like hell when it's not.
That's interesting.
When it is loosey-goosey.
Did you know that before 2011?
Did not know that. Did not know that in 2012.
Yep,
but I was like struggling to breathe. It's hard. It is tricky. And so I came off that medication, and then anyway, so I'm fine, and I'm trying new things, and trying just to balance things out and get through my day to day.
Oh, well, here's a question: do you feel sorry for yourself? I think I would feel so sorry for myself if I had the level of maladies you've had.
No, I get frustrated.
Okay,
and I think I have an inner strength that I remember Stephanie said to me just something about how I'm able to persevere and that I have like this inner strength. And I know that, but I think back to, I used to be a long distance cyclist where I would do 50 to 100 miles a day. And one of my favorite moments of cycling was always uphill. And whenever I would do uphill cycling and pass people that were on the side of the road resting or pushing their bike, I would prefer to continue at a very slow speed up. And one time it ended up being 8 miles, and I didn't know how long the hill was going to go. I don't know where it comes from, but I have no problem I can just focus. Even if I'm going half a mile an hour, I can go up that hill for 8 miles. And I feel like it translates in many different areas in my life.
Well, it's a big one. Stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
mm-hmm.
you have your pace is not rushed.
No.
Meaning like you're like, hey, this is the pace. You don't like it?
It's still the pace. I remember when I first started and I was doing open mics and I looked down and I felt insecure because I was newer at it than some of the other people at the coffee shop. And this woman that had probably been doing it a year or whatever, she did this to me. Just waving her hand like, come on, come on.
But it's also like a virtue because your pace creates tension. It's like you turned a curse into a gift where it is like, shouldn't work. It should be faster. But let's all admit it should be faster, her pace. But
if not funnier.
Yeah, if a little funny, a little faster.
A little funnier, a little faster, but still people are showing up.
She qualified to be a guest.
Yeah.
But you've turned it into like a signature, which is again telling.
There's other slow comedians. I mean,
not like you. No, I'm kidding. No, of course it is. But your pace, that's the first thing I thought of is like your pace is, it's like, it's dominant. Do you know what I mean? Like it's you're like, no, I'm hilarious. Give it a second. Like, no, you'll wait for it.
I hope they do.
I'm sure they've
been waiting.
Yeah,
they wait.
Yeah, they wait. They're going to wait.
And sometimes it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, but all right.
I mean, I'm waiting too.
Yeah, we're all waiting.
Yeah.
It's connecting with the crowd.
But it's also, it's that trusting life. And I used to believe that something so huge was going to take me down or something so huge was going to launch me. And neither really do, I mean, they can.
No, but give what do you mean by that? Launch your career or launch your
anything in a positive way or negative. I feel like, yes, of course it can. Something can take you down or kill you or something. You become an overnight sensation, of course. But I do feel like the majority of things in life just kind of, it all becomes a wash. I don't think even with stand-up, I don't think any huge gig is going to be my biggest. Or I don't think any terrible show that I have is going to be
take you down.
Yeah.
It's all cumulative, positive and negative.
But I used to really think that there was one or the other. And now I think in those moments when I'm on stage and I'm delivering material that's, especially when it's new and the audience is waiting and I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
But I do trust now that it's fine and I can sort through this moment or this material, and I still have to work on it. I don't really write my material down. I just have a list of, 5 or 10 things I'm going to talk about, and I don't know how it's going to go. And it's that fight or flight that creates a punchline so quickly that I'm like, wow, okay, well, there it is.
Yeah.
There's the punchline.
I've said on here, and don't reciprocate, I've said that the 3 fastest people I've ever seen are you, Fred Armisen, and Cedric the Entertainer. And the just in terms of doing a bit, the fastest, like I start a bit, you're there finishing it. And my favorite one of yours, and you may not remember this, when we were going around the country, private jet, like Bon Jovi, Ellen had to, the private airport in Seattle was going to close at 10 p.m.
Okay.
So she had to be off stage by 9:15 so that we could make it to the private jet airport. At which point you were like, well, what's going to happen? Like an old man, like with a lantern, like, sorry, kid, airport's closed. And it fucking made me laugh so hard that there would be an old, like, Sorry, kids. Airport's closed. It was very fucking funny.
Oh. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you've mentioned that on...
I haven't mentioned that specifically, but I have mentioned how funny I think you are.
No. Well,
don't reciprocate. Don't embarrass me.
Well.
No, we don't have time.
What do you mean we don't have time for me to reciprocate how funny you are?
Yeah.
How effortlessly funny? How you are. I feel like you're that person that everybody... would you fall under the comics comic, I guess? Is that what you are?
Yeah, but I'm trying to be Kevin Hart.
Yeah, but you're not. And you're not ever going to be.
I know. Mike Birbiglia one time goes, "We're never going to host Saturday Night Live." And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess we aren't. I guess that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Does it really upset you that...
No, wait, but you just think, it's one of the great things about being young is you just think anything's possible. And then you get older and you go, oh, no, only a few things were possible.
So what age were you like, oh, I'm not going to be Kevin? Or you still think you're going to be Kevin
Hart?
No,
I don't think I'm going to be Kevin Hart.
Okay.
But if I'm, like I said, if I'm going to Philadelphia, why not do an arena? If I'm going to Atlanta
that doesn't
anyhow.
Sound... I don't know. It's like with representation, management, agents. It's
again,
I don't want a lot of people.
I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
The lifestyle wouldn't work for me at all. But if you're asking me, would I like more people to like me the way they like me now? Yes, I would absolutely like. I think the country'd be better off.
If more people
people liked me, if they had my ethos, I think it would just, I think everything would clear right up.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm pulling for you.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
How does it manifest? So the being tidy on the road, how's the anxiety manifest? Just worry? Is it a sitting anxiety? Is it like a resting, like kind of omnipresent state?
It's not something I've had my whole life, but it's something I'm working through currently. And it comes up in ways of feeling claustrophobic. But that I've also been told that can be tied into trauma in life, and so yeah. But I feel like I'm starting to get a hold of it a bit.
My experience. Have you ever had it on stage? Panic attack?
No, I've had out of body moments, that kind of thing, but not.
Was the set going good or just randomly? Good, bad?
Probably everything in between. All those, there's only been a handful of times where I've been like, oh, this is what's happening. Sometimes I'll even do it where I'm like, my mouth is moving. I'm saying words. Am I going to know the next word I need to say? Yeah. Is this a word? Like when I'm on stage, I'm like, what am I talking about? Why are people here to see me? Where I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's just like being alive, and the job is very weird. If you ever get too much of a wide shot, you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Do you have that with words though, where you're like, is this a word?
Absolutely.
That's a word.
Absolutely.
My mouth is moving.
Absolutely.
That sound is a word too.
Yeah. And they
know these words.
Yeah, they know. I don't know how they know.
Yeah.
But they know. We all know these words.
We know these words.
There's one thing I know.
Yeah.
Is that we know these words.
These words.
What do you do with the anxiety?
Breathing exercises. I do deep breathing. I exercise every day. And like I said, I try to get rest. But mainly I rely on deep breathing.
Is that a thing that you were like, I think I got to deal with this anxiety. Let's bring in some deep breathing, or was this a 2012 relic?
No, this is something that it's so weird how in life you hear about it, like when you're a small child and somebody says, take a deep breath, and you're like, that's not going to help me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it actually will.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Yeah.
And there's a science to it. Yeah. So take a deep breath. Mm-hmm. And I try and explain it to my children instead of just saying, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the...
Are they buying it? Or are they?
They do.
Do they?
And it's
Great.
so, at their school, they teach mindfulness and they do meditation. And
great.
So it's not like a leap for me to tell them to please just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
But seeing it work with them too is pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it doesn't work for everyone or all the time, but it's certainly a really tremendous go-to.
Do you have a practice, or you just, if you feel anxiety coming, you just go like, let me get 5 minutes and I'm...
Yeah, I'll do that. I also do it before bed. I do breathing exercises just to help with my my sleeping, just to get me in the direction of let's go deep with this sleep.
How much sleep are you trying to get?
I would love to sleep 8 or 9 hours, but I would say I'm falling in the 6 to 7 hours a night.
You got an app? You got a Ring?
I don't have an app. My therapist told me about a sleep app.
Yeah.
This is something she recently told me to potentially get. And so that's something I might do, but I've built back up to getting better sleep.
Back up after the kids? I'm assuming you just got no sleep for years?
Yes. It was hard getting sleep with kids and also touring and filming and, and then stresses and trauma and everything that keeps you up as an adult with kids and internal bleeding.
Did you have a parenting plan before you guys had the kids?
No, zero. I truly was sitting on the couch and Stephanie walked by me, and we were a week from the kids' arrival, and I said, have you ever read, do you think we should read a book? And she was like, nah, I think we're fine. I was like, yeah, me too. And we have been, and maybe we're...
Oh, you have been fine.
Yeah, we have been fine. I think people get so locked in on, I'm doing rye parenting, or I'm doing whatever
style, yeah.
Whatever is, but also no judgment, if possible.
Yeah,
if I could say
terrifying.
This, it's like whatever is going to make you feel comfortable, you should do it. Our kids, what we do, our whole family is vegan, but we tell our kids that you can try whatever you want. We don't want them to go to birthday parties or go to school or travel and not try things. But in our home, there's no animal products. And I feel like that's very similar to just how we're raising them. Is these are the guidelines, but we want you to make decisions of your own.
And do you think that if a person you've created a culture for the kids, right? And then they're out in the world, they're at a birthday party or whatever. Do you think that a kid can actually make a informed decision about I want to fucking try a burger without it being rebellious, or without it being fuck my parents a little bit? Or can you make it, are people strong enough to be part of a culture and just be open to other cultures in a way that's healthy? Because I know from I don't know exactly how you grew up, but you just want to not be like your parents. But now I wonder, it's will they want to be like their parents?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's that thing of the more you say no and you're restrictive, the more they're going to want something else. Again, going back to being more mindful about things, we're not just vegan and telling them we're vegan and you can't eat animal products. We've talked to them a lot about why we are. And my initial reasoning was because of my health, but once I made that decision, then it kind of bleeds into everything else, whether it's animals or environmental. And so we've talked to them a lot about those ideas, and I think they get it. And they also do try things, but their teachers always tell us that 95% of the time they're choosing a vegan option, or
right.
they don't. It's like when people will be eating something in front of me and they're like, "Is this hard for you?" Not like because I'm not eating that stuff, but like I secretly want a cheeseburger.
Right. Yes.
Like
you're driving past Burger King.
I'm not, there's no part. It's like during the pandemic, somebody asked me, like, "Did you stay vegan during the pandemic?" And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "You didn't cheat at all?" I was like, "What?
Yeah, like, why do you think I'm doing this?
Like on the side during the or if I was out to sea with a bunch of men, I'd come home with a husband. You know what I mean? Like it's
funny. You're like, no, it's not really why I'm doing it.
There's way more to it than that.
Okay, well, you have one on here that are kind of related.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's tied to anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the calculus on kids with that? Because that's always what I think. It's like, I don't know. It's a bit of a like bringing them into a escape room.
Well, it's not only that, but also if I'm so worried about climate change, why would I bring more people in to destroy the climate? And it's like, I don't know.
During the pandemic, you didn't want to bring more people in?
I really actually did.
Yeah.
I really did. I mean, we were sitting around and we had these moments, because we got babies on ice,
Yeah, goddamn right.
And so
were these IVF kids?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. People ask all the time, but how we got them, and it was Stephanie's eggs and my sperm. So. So, but yeah, I think it's mostly about my children and future generations. That's what the concern for me is I think that everything we hear about the climate, I think we're so beyond what they are.
It's so much worse.
Yeah, that's
every chart.
Yeah,
it's way worse than this.
Yeah, it's
every single one.
Yeah,
the ocean has gotten hotter every single month. It's breaking records every month.
Yeah,
it is a weird thing of you don't want to say trust life.
Mm-hmm.
You hate to use trust life in this, but like I don't know what else. It seems like this is what humans are destined to do for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm vegan and have an electric car and solar and all that shit because I want to be a hypocrite. I want to be a hypocrite in other ways, but I can withstand not being a hypocrite in that way. I can live my values there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. And now I'm involved with a woman who's got a 3.5-year-old, and I'm kind of like, fuck. This is going to be, I don't even know how to prepare them.
So you're riddled with anxiety around it.
I feel like I'm the only one who's aware of it.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I figured.
I feel like I'm, and I'm obviously flawed and imperfect.
Yeah. And again, I do some stuff correctly and I don't do other shit. I fly around every weekend.
Same. Yeah. I'm breaking all the vegan and rules left and right, but I'm leaning as much towards
I mostly wear leather, like kind of a lot, like capes and like stuff you don't even need.
Leather capes, sure.
Yeah.
Top hats.
Yes.
You
Boots.
and your leather top hats.
Yes.
I thought you said boobs. Leather boobs. You had those made years ago.
I have like trains, like long leather trains.
Yeah, leather tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
And it used to make me mad, and now I'm like, I can't. To get mad about this would be a recipe for misery. Mm-hmm. So I just have to I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, it feels like that thing of, to go back to what you do and don't have control over. And that's because it's crazy making. And so I just do what I can do to make myself feel better. And then I have to let go of the rest.
Yeah. And also if you have kids, it's like, well, guess just love the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a pretty, A, the only thing you control, and B, maybe loving a child that's on a slowly suffocating or pretty quickly suffocating at this point planet. I don't know. We'll just love the shit out of you until everything caves in.
And how is it for you? Have you been involved with someone with a child before?
A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. Mm-hmm. I like it actually.
You don't mind it? I don't mind you.
No, I don't. No, the kid's excellent. Mm-hmm. Like I'm lucked out.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it because I find I'd never want to have kids, so I like it. I don't mind if a woman has kids or like it. I even like it sometimes because they have a primary emotional relationship and they're not looking to me to create one for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, you have one, so now you can just see me for what I am.
Yeah,
which is an entertaining penis person. I think that's what men are. I think
penis person. Okay.
Yeah, an entertaining.
I thought you were
penis
entertaining
person.
with your penis. And
well,
I was like, well, now we have serious issues, and it's on tape.
Huh.
Entertaining penis
consensual
person.
Entertainment. Penile entertainment. No, I just am kind of like it's what I think guys are equipped for, which is like just kind of being funny and stupid and like whatever.
Yeah.
And like, you want to have sex with my penis? Cool. I have one.
And how long have you been in your relationship?
A year plus.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Nice.
Thank you. I thought you'd think that was nice.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you have a conclusion on the climate change stuff? Like in terms of what's the plan?
The plan for me?
Yeah, like what we talked about,
planet.
like where well, the planet is we can only do so much, right?
Recycle.
Right.
You gotta recycle
vociferously.
Yeah.
It's effective. Even that is like absurd. Where we all know recycling isn't even happening. And we're still putting it in the bins.
When you're in the hotel and you're putting it in
two different bins
under the desk.
Yeah.
They're
this is not nothing is happening. By the way, not even the hotel. The city of Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, anywhere. Yeah, it's not happening. It's
but 3 different bins.
Yeah.
You're fooling yourself.
Yeah,
where it's just theater.
You're filing your trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for nothing.
But what is where
do you just have to like?
Well, that's what I was saying is like I have to just, even if I know, whenever I'm in a hotel room and those stupid little trash cans, recycle and trash are under there, under the desk, I still do it.
I know.
I still do it, and I know they're not going anywhere that's going to help this planet.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing what I can do, and that's where I'm saying I have to let go of the rest.
Yeah.
Because I have no control over that.
Yes.
And so that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also I didn't like bring my own cup when I went and got a coffee, when I went and got my little cortado.
Heroes like me did.
And what about you? How are you dealing with all the plastic particles you're drinking?
What?
What do you mean what?
What? There's no plastic particles. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, in some ways we're old enough like, well, we're going to miss the worst parts of it.
Yeah.
So,
Fa la la la.
Fa la la la. Oh, this is interesting. Connecting with those who are not like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same boat. We're not regular. A lot of people are not like-minded. A lot of people are not like-minded lifestyle-wise, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you made a concerted effort to connect with people?
I try to. My wife, Stephanie, and I talk about this a lot. You know, there's people that I'm around that I know have opinions about me or whatever it is, trying to bridge those gaps it's tricky. And I have opinions about people. People have opinions about me. I have opinions about people.
But it's worse when they have opinions about you.
It's so much worse. But I always go back to my very first girlfriend. I'm still close to her and her whole family and her parents. And
how old were you when you dated?
I was maybe 19. I don't remember. It's been a while. Her parents are in their mid 80s and they're in small town Ohio. And I am so close to, they're like parents to me.
Yeah.
And I take my family to visit them in the summertime. I love them so much. They are hardcore Catholic. They are tiny, tiny Ohio people. And our beliefs don't match.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But we love each other like crazy people.
Yeah.
I text with her mother pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And Stephanie adores her. And it's an interesting thing that has helped in these times that are, obviously there's been such division forever in the world and in people's personal lives and different communities. But it's so divided in the world and even in the comedy community. And it's a microcosm of the bigger picture. And I always go back to that, my relationship with them, because when I walk in their door, I'm not talking abortion with them. They're not talking about any fears they might have about where my soul might go after this lifetime. We are just together and we laugh so hard and have so much fun. And as soon as I come visit that, they're cooking vegan food and we're enjoying each other in all the different ways that we do without bringing these other topics in.
Yeah.
And I carry that example with me all the time to try and find ways to connect with others when it is a bit of a struggle. But I'm always struggling with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in your case, I don't have a thing that I'm liberal and vegan. I'm like whatever, pretty like lesbian people have a problem with homosexuality. They just do. That's a big one.
This is the first I've heard.
Wake up.
Okay. Well, it goes beyond even just being gay, because the lines are so blurred right now with gay, non-binary, trans, that it's like, oh, I'm okay with you, but trans or non-binary. And my point is, if you think you're okay with me, what you're saying about trans or non-binary people, that bleeds into my world too. If we're just talking about how you love me, when I go into a public bathroom, when I go into a public bathroom, people don't know how I identify. I get looks. I feel. And
you pee in the sink.
Exactly. If not on the floor, I go all over the place. I don't care. I don't care.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I'm on Star Trek. Shield upgrade. It goes beyond just even like, oh, I'm gay and people don't accept me for that, or have whatever opinions. There's
what's the beyond that? When you say it goes beyond that, is it?
Well, I'm saying that oddly, until a certain point, there was a window of time where I didn't feel the aggression.
Yeah. There was about a 6-10 year period.
Yeah,
probably.
There was a window where I didn't feel that aggression.
Which I don't say this ironically, Ellen was a big part of.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Oh my God. I can't even believe the roads that have been opened for me because of Ellen.
Yeah.
Because of so many different people, but yes, very specifically Ellen. But I feel it in certain areas and in public bathrooms. And I had a show that my agent flagged, saying there was some pushback because there was a whole pride, like all sorts of events going on, from stand-up to drag shows, all sorts of things. And he said, there's pushback, there's letters, there's some aggression going on. And I thought, I don't think I'm going to take that chance.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take that chance. And he said, I'm happy, I'll fly out there with you, or you could hire security. And I was like, what are we even talking about? I'm happily married with the most incredible children, and I love what I do, but no, thank you.
Yeah. It's like, what am I? You're Martin Luther King. You have to risk life and death to.
And it was one of the highest paying gigs I had been offered that year. And it was still like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No world.
Yeah, it's so funny because Fortune was on here talking about like worrying about her safety.
Yeah.
Which is a thing I don't, as a straight person, I just don't think about that much. Fortune's
safety.
No, I actually do worry about. No, I just don't think about my physical safety at a show because of who I am. It's a significantly higher level of difficulty and so fucking unnecessary and barbaric.
Yeah.
And unfair.
Yeah. And it's something, even though we've made such strides in ways since in the past decade.
Yeah.
It's obviously so much of it has also gone away.
Yeah.
And yeah, me 2011 Tig, I didn't think about my safety on stage or traveling in those ways. And now it's not just me, but I have a family.
Yeah.
And that is my whole priority, obviously, is I want to be healthy. I want to be safe. I want them to be healthy and safe. And I know it's like, yeah, of course. But it's like, it's not as easy for everybody.
Yeah. It makes the desire to connect.
How do we navigate?
Like just a genuine desire to connect. Mm-hmm. When there's aggression from the other side, that's hard.
It's really hard. Yeah.
Like and it's also like, what am I trying to connect with? And then I have to like teach them. Fucking teach. You shouldn't have to teach people.
Yeah. We were on a flight, New York to LA. And whenever I tell this story, people are like, where were you flying? New York to LA. Mm-hmm. New York to LA. Mm-hmm. There was a family that wasn't seated together. And so Stephanie and I offered, and we had our kids with us, but we offered to do like a switcheroony so that we could figure something out for them as well. And then when this woman, it's been so many years, but I can't remember if I was standing up. I think I was, to go to the bathroom, or she was. The family that we offered to help, she said, so who's the man out of the two of you? And I thought she was kidding. I said, neither.
Yeah.
We're both female. And she was like, And is your family ashamed of you? I was, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
I was answering a few of her questions because it was that feeling of like, there's no world that she's really asking me this.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the punchline. And you
find yourself answering, and you're like, okay, I'll go
along
with the bit.
But then I said, I'm not answering any more of your questions. I was so alarmed, obviously. Yeah. When she said, is your family ashamed? I said, no. I said, my family's... And then I couldn't even believe I was giving her the time of day. And she looked so normal. New York to LA.
Yeah.
Our kids were very young, but I don't know if it was one of those, like a flight was delayed and everybody was like, it felt like
scattershot.
It felt like a haywire situation. with the flight.
And that's the thing, like as a straight person, never think about it. So shocked to hear it. I'm sure you were shocked to experience it.
Stunned.
Yeah.
Stunned.
Because I hear racial versions all the time where I'm like, when?
Mm-hmm.
Today. How?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Rock told me one time he had to get a surrogate to go look at summer houses for him because they wouldn't rent to a black person. So he had to get a white. Yeah. You're like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. Just, and it seems impossible, but like, and you don't, as if you're you or whomever, you don't want to like shut it all down, shut down. I'm going to assume the worst about people, or I have to stay vulnerable and get crushed, kind of.
It's a conscious decision to try to remain open. And, you know, I'm originally from Mississippi, and going back there's all different shapes and sizes of family members, literally and figuratively. And I mean, there's extended family too, and married in and all sorts thrown in the mix, like most people's families. But I could shut it all down and be like, we're not going, and we're, you know, but we have so much fun, and we are ourselves, and we, you know, don't hide anything about our thoughts or feelings. And then also try to remain open and friendly with people that we know that have very just such opposing views on everything.
Yeah. And I don't even know what the best approach is, because I always feel like I'm sure someone made this observation, but the idea of like, if you're afraid of gay marriage, just go hang out with a gay married couple. You're going to be bored within 15 minutes. It's just they got to go get some food. Then they got to pick up the thing, and then they got to go move the thing. And then, of course, there's like a lot of like gay pretty stuff. Graphic gay stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's boring again.
Yeah. Well, when Stephanie and I we go back to Mississippi, like I would say for sure a couple times a year, and
to see if your family's ashamed of you or not.
Yeah. Yep. And when we went last year, there was a night where this is what really started the conversation between us of like, how do we navigate this? Not just with my family or Mississippi, or it's everywhere, like in the world and comedy and everywhere. But everyone was sitting around talking, having drinks. It's getting later and later. This is a mixed room of family, friends of family. Issues came up. Stephanie is not chill about her beliefs. She is not chill. And I was sitting there watching. Didn't have any alcohol in me, and I was watching the conversation go and the questions happen, and I was clocking Stephanie and thinking, okay, let's see how this goes, because she's wonderful, very open, friendly, but to a certain point, she's like hard pass. And at a point in this one conversation, she stood up, turned to the whole room at my cousin's house, and just yelled that they all had blood on their hands. And she went upstairs, and I sat there and I turned to everyone and I just said, "Well, good night." And I got up and went upstairs with her, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I said, "Are you wanting to leave, or do you want to get a hotel? Do you want to go back to LA?" And she was like, "No, I'm okay." And she was online donating to the ACLU. And then I just said, for whatever it's worth, when we go downstairs tonight or tomorrow, there's not going to be any awkwardness from my family, because they'll talk about anything, whether it's acceptable or not, the way it's discussed. And sure enough, like in the morning, it's like, good morning. Well, we sure what,
Did you get a laugh on, well, good night?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. I mean, there's not, my family's very gregarious and like a lot of characters. Yeah. And there's always like 15 people in the house and neighbors you've never seen swimming in my cousin's pool. And, it's just it's a free for all. Yeah. And we actually just got back from Mississippi and had a blast. And so it's not like Tig and Stephanie are coming back in town and remember what happened last year. It's not like that. But so it's new beginnings of that. How do you navigate family, and yet we're flying out to Ohio to stay with these very conservative Catholic elderly people with our gay family. So it's all around, obviously.
Yeah. You have to, it sounds like you're accepting life for, you know what I mean?
We're
you're
trying
just taking life at its terms. I've written in my
journal.
I don't call it a journal.
Diary.
I don't call it a diary. I call it a gratitude checklist because it's masculine, makes it.
Yeah.
But
checklist.
It's checklist. That like life, no substitutions. Mm-hmm. This is it. Mm-hmm. You want it or not.
Yeah.
So
stadiums or theaters.
Mm-hmm. You pick.
Clubs. No, I do clubs still.
No, I do too, but we don't talk about it. It was so great to talk to you.
Great talking to you.
You have a new Netflix special on Amazon? You have
a Prime Video?
Yes.
Called Hello Again. I also have a podcast with Fortune Feimster and Mae Martin called Handsome.
Yes.
And it's nonsense.
I don't know Mae well, but Fortune's so great, and you're so great.
Well, it's nonsense. As are you. Is the show over?
Not if you won't shut the fuck up.
Thanks for having me.